Welcome to another episode of Chattin with Stax. I'm your host, Bill-Staxx, and today I got Joe Serna. He's a returning guest, and he's going to tell me his experience from being in the military and going through a lot of things. So, what's up, Joe?
Hey, what's going on, buddy? Man, hey, you know what? This is an honor to be back with you, bro.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Um, Today, you want to talk about your involvement with the military and some of your experiences there?
Yeah, sure. I think on the first episode we talked a little forward. Then we talked about the third accident that I had, but I want to go back a little bit and talk about the second accident because I think the second accident was the most important. Although it wasn't as physical as the third, but I think the second had a super impact on me, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so was it how far back was it from the first act? Well, how much after the first accident did the second accident happen?
Oh, that's a good question. So this was June 28th, 2008 was my second accident. My third accident happened around August of 24th of 2008, same year. It's hard for me to keep dates because it's just I don't those memories I just sometimes I just want to wash over them. So, but yeah, it was about 2 months apart between my second and third accident.
What about the first accident?
The first accident happened around it's kind of crazy, man, because I know these dates by heart. So it's like my birthday. The first
Yeah.
accident was February 28th, 2006. Yeah, those are
Well,
my very first deployment. Yes, we were. Yeah.
yeah, so after your first accident, you decide to stay in the fight and keep going?
No, no, that was after the second accident. So the first accident, everybody in my truck, because my first accident, we hit an IED, and the only person to continue on was myself. Everybody else, I had either dead or they were medevac back to the states. So it
Wow.
was it was the second between the second and third, which was probably the most important part of my life.
Yeah, wow, man. I want to um I want to say my condolences to the families of the fallen people
Yeah,
that have with your squad, man. I can't imagine the things that you've been through,
yeah, tough, brother.
for real. I commend you, man. You're a strong person, man. You really show your courage and your fortitude to keep going in the light of darkness.
It,
And
it,
I
you
could,
know, when you say that, Stacks, I really appreciate that. Um, I say the light is in Afghanistan, and I say the dark is back here in the states. It's just
yeah,
weird to say. Yeah, it's just how I'm balancing life right now.
I understand, man. So do you want to talk about the second accident?
So the second accident happened January 28, 2008, Afghanistan. I was on ODA 713. It was a special forces team, and my team was tasked to train the commandos throughout the day. So our commandos are like the tier one um, Afghanis. So those are elite guys that are gonna go and kick in the doors, and we're gonna go follow behind them. That's just our mission. We call it foreign internal defense.
Hmm.
We have to have a face on every mission. It has to be an Afghan face. So our job was to train them and get them in the door, and then we'll go behind them. We call it combat advising. So we're out in the range, and we're out there probably all day for hours on the range, teach them how to shoot. And then an orders comes down and says, "Hey, you guys need to close down. Go ahead and stop what you're doing. Come back to the base. You're gonna get some new orders, and you guys are going to take off. And at this time, we had we had 4 trucks. We had 3, we call them RG31s or RG33s,
Mm-hmm.
these big metal trucks. And then we also had a wrecker. A wrecker is like a tow truck.
Yeah.
And
Like
I'm
a
like,
big, like a real big one, though.
like a
Right?
huge tow truck. And I'm like, why do we have a tow truck with us? And then they kind of because this was like a real quick. We call it 5 W's. When a 5 W's is like who, what, when, where, and why. Leave the wire.
So is that what you're thinking? Is that what they teach you to think
Yeah,
when you're
yeah, yeah.
okay?
So there's 4. So now there's 4 trucks. There's 3 team trucks, and there's a
Is
4th truck
this the truck you're talking about?
in the background.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And so okay.
Okay. So the mission was that our sister ODA, a guy from the other team has stepped on an anti-personnel mine. His name's Huntsberger. He stepped on a landmine and he blew himself in half.
So he was gone.
He was dead, bro. So the team put him back, put his, put him in a body bag,
Yeah, his remains.
his remains, and then
Yeah.
they put him on the back of a truck.
Mhm.
Well, the trucks that you just shown right now, the size of that truck doesn't, the terrain, that truck in the back,
Yeah.
the terrain doesn't support over the road, right?
Mhm.
Over agriculture, over dirt. Those vehicles are made for like hardball roads, like cement roads, hard packed dirt roads.
Mhm.
So when he stepped on a landmine and his team put him in the truck to bring him back to Kandahar, which is our major base,
Yeah.
to fly him home, the team started getting stuck.
Because of the sand.
The sand and
Mhm.
and the agriculture and whatever was in the field.
Yeah.
So they told us, my team, they said you need to take your 3 trucks, the team trucks, plus a wrecker, which is a tow truck. Go get that one truck unstuck, and then go transfer bodies. Bring your body his truck, so we could take him back to a major air base to fly him back to his families. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's our mission. That's all we need. We need to go recover a truck and recover a body. Easy money.
So that's why
And
the wrecker's with you, right?
that's why the record was me.
Mhm.
Okay, so um, on the road, on the hardball road, on the way there, we shot past the guys. The guys were to our right. We shot past them. The team was on our right. My team shot past them and said, you know what? We're gonna go back around. So we banked around and we started cutting through the field to get to them. Right?
Mhm.
We can see the lights where they were at.
What
And
time was it at? What time was it in the
about 2 in
day?
the morning,
It was dark.
dark.
Okay.
It's about 2 in the morning. And so um, they said, they said, we see the lights. Let's head that way. And then we started going through the fields ourselves. Now remember,
Mhm.
our trucks weigh 90,000 pounds. So when we started going to the fields, our truck started getting stuck.
Yeah.
So our first truck comes up to this creek. We can't pass it. And then he tells the rest of the trucks, well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna jump on the creek road. We're gonna follow the creek up to the main road and circle around, right? Kind of circle around so we can get past it. Everybody said that's fine, that's fine. Because the other truck was no more than 200 meters away, but there was
How many people are in each truck?
4.
4 people, and how many trucks are there? Three trucks.
Well, there's 4 trucks that are SF guys, and then there's one truck that's a wrecker that has 2 guys.
Mm-hmm. So altogether, it's probably like what, dozen people, 12 people, maybe.
11,
Okay.
close to 11.
Mm-hmm.
And so we see the trucks, we see the direction they're traveling, and we know they're stuck. And we said, okay, let's go back to the main road, go back around the creek, and they'll end up on their side of the creek so we can help them out. Okay, cool. So the first tree, so the first road they find is a hard packed dirt road. It's following a creek, and the creek goes back up to the main road, which is we call it hardball concrete.
Mhm.
So the first truck goes, then the second truck goes, then the wrecker goes, and then
Mhm.
our truck goes. And so when we start making our way back to the hardball road, the ground at some point starts crumbling because of the weight of the other trucks.
Because the truck's so heavy, yeah.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. And
Mhm.
so uh at some point the road gives way.
Is it
Right?
like a cliff there, or is it
No,
like
it's just like a
is it all flat?
no, it's just like it's like you have on one side you have agriculture stuff where you're feeding
Mhm.
water.
Yeah.
Then you have a dirt road, and then you have the aqueduct on one side.
Oh,
So
okay,
we're between the field and the aqueduct.
okay.
Okay, but where we're at, there's not really the little, like cement dams to control it.
Mhm. Yeah,
There, that's the only part it has the dam out of the whole creek is where we're driving by.
yeah.
There's no dirt. This is all cement now on our left side because we're traveling towards the road. Um, this is the only thing that a has any kind of cement structure to it. So the road gives way, and the top of the truck starts leaning. Now it's top heavy. It
Yeah.
starts leaning, and I and
Where
I
are you in? Are you in the truck? Where are you in the truck?
okay. So I have a gunner in the middle of the truck, and then I have a driver and I have a passenger. The passenger's our boss. I'm sitting I'm sitting in a seat belt with my back against the wall. So the way it's falling, that's the way I'm seated. Okay.
Oh, so you're falling backwards like
I'm
this?
falling back. Yeah, I'm falling backwards.
Yeah.
But you got to remember, I had a 5-point harness is like a complicated seatbelt.
Yeah.
So you got to turn it, and all the buckles got to come off it.
So you're strapped into the truck.
I'm
So
strapped
when
into
it
the truck.
starts falling, you're stuck in it.
Yes.
Damn.
And so when it first hits the ground, hits the side of the
Oh,
embankment.
so it flipped all the way?
No, it slid. It slid on
Oh,
my
oh,
side. My back was
yeah.
sliding down, and then I started trying to fight for my seatbelt.
Mhm.
But then all the ammo cans that we had in cargo straps sitting across from me start hitting me in the face.
Oh man.
So all those ammo cans are hitting me. Right. So I'm underwater. So now the water starts rising.
Oh, the truck's going in the water?
Yeah. Yeah. It's going in the water. It's sliding down.
Wow.
It's sliding down, and it
How
didn't.
deep is this aqueduct water? And
Oh,
like how big is it?
you'll soon find. You'll soon find out. So I was going down there. I was underwater. I started grabbing my gun. I was like this, man. I started grabbing my seatbelt, and um and my partner was like, I the water was over my face, and I took my face out of the water. The
Mhm.
truck is sliding down. The my gun is on my chest. The seatbelt is on my chest. My equipment is on my chest, and I'm
Mhm.
underwater like I can't breathe anymore. I'm gurgling water. I'm like I can't get it up. And I'm upside down. You got to remember this is like 2 a.m. Okay,
Yeah.
and then I went like this. I had enough strength to lift my neck out of the water. I said, "Help me." The team sergeant, which was he was going down sideways. He was going down. He said, "Hey, jump back there and help Joe." And so my partner Matthew James, who was sitting about 3 feet away from me, he
Mhm.
jumps back. He pops my seatbelt.
And
Boom.
you jump out like
Yeah,
you get your air.
yeah. I jump out and I stand up.
Holy shit, man.
When that happens, the whole truck rolls over. Now the whole truck's in the river. Now the truck is wheels up. Not only that, everything on that the doors are so heavy, the hydraulic system opens the doors. If we don't have hydraulics, we do it manually. Right? The
Yeah.
The water kills the power. So now we're fighting for this back door to open up. And now instead of being upright, our heads are touching the bottom of the floor.
Is it filled up with water in
No,
you?
no, water's coming. Water's still rising.
Wow.
And I start opening the back. And now you got to remember, it's 2 a.m. The water's cold. It's pitch black, and I'm trying to open the back door. What happened on the back door was I could open it up, but we have steps on the back that free float. So
Hmm.
when it rolled over, the steps covered the door.
And crushed it, right?
Covered it, yeah, covered it.
Yeah.
So there's no way
Yeah.
to open up. And then I heard this nasty sound, bro. It was like a bloop, 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 and I'm like, oh man. Now you got to remember the water's to our chest, and then I hear this nasty sound. That you know what that sound came from? There
Mhm.
was fuel cans on the side of the truck. When it rolled over, it crushed it. So the diesel was now filtering in to our cab space, and I was like this, and I was like,
So it was you could smell gas
it
in
was
that.
off right here. It was up to my neck, right about here. I had burns like this. That's how high it was. Yeah, yeah. So we had they call it toxic contamination, inhalation, and uh, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, man, whatever. I had this much air. Like I was like this much air, literally this much
So
air.
how many people are stuck in the thing with you?
Four.
Four. And you are when you're trying to breathe, are you just aware that anyone's around you? Are you
I'm hoping the first two got out. I know the guy behind me is struggling. He's telling me because the water's coming up, and he's telling, and I tell him about his family. Like, your family, man, we're good, man, we're good. Just joking around because there's no creek in that area that is this deep. Unfortunately, we found the deepest part of the creek. So, so I'm sitting there and I'm opening the door. I tell him go get a light. And upside down, he comes back underwater. He went underwater. He gives me a helmet with a light on, and I look at the door and I'm doing my assessment on the door. And then
do you have it open at all? The door?
door couldn't open it all,
Like
you
so
know,
the latch wouldn't even open?
because the steps on the outside were locking it in. Because the steps on the outside, when they flipped over, the steps
Is
locked it in.
is that the only way to get out of the truck?
That was it, brother.
There was no other way to escape.
The only hatch that we had, we were standing on it because it went flipped over. That was the only hatch we had. So it
I
was
need
a
I need I need 1 second, yo, because someone keeps blowing me up. I gotta just tell them that I'm busy. Hold on. Um, all right. Boom. All right, go ahead.
okay. So that was a good question because I always fight with that in my life, Stacks. I always fight. What can I do to prevent any other casualties? I always go through. I'm like, can I have opened the door harder? Can I did this? Can I? There was nothing. We were locked in a box because the steps. You know how the steps like this, but when it falls over, they cover the
Yeah.
back door. They lock the back door. And there was
Wow.
and there was a lot of policy changes to these vehicles because we're like we said that after we went through investigation, I'm like, this is not, this is this and this.
How
So
did you end up? Because we're not done. Like you're still stuck in there.
yeah, so I'm stuck in there, and the water's up to my neck now, and I smell the diesel, and um I always thought to myself, I said, you know what? There's two things that I am not going to do. One is not burn, and one is not drown. Right?
Yeah.
And as soon as I said this, I heard my friend say, "Joe, I can't feel my lips. He's choking." And I said, and I start feeling this same. I start feeling the same symptoms.
Can you hear anybody outside the truck trying to get in?
It's isolated, bro.
Quiet?
Yep. So the only thing you have in your truck is that you're gonna die. I was gonna die. So the water continued to rise, and I pulled my gun. I pulled my gun out, bro. And as much as I hate to say it, man, um, there's a lot of things that kept me alive, especially the Lord. But I pulled my gun out to my chest, and then I pulled it up, and I put it to my head, and then I rolled back the trigger. I was cringing. I was cringing. I was anticipating that shot that would end my life, you know. And I'm like, and I couldn't do it. And I'm like this.
Did you have pressure? Did you have pressure on the trigger?
Okay, a 9mm trigger has 2 pounds of pressure. I had about a pound on it. That means the hammer was rolling back.
Yeah, like it was starting to go back.
All I had to do was put 1 more pound of pressure, and the bitch was gonna go off. So this is kind of the situation we were in, and I had put it here, man, and I was crying. I'm like, Lord, I'm doing everything I can. I don't want to drown, and I couldn't do it, bro, and I dropped it. And I remember because we had a helmet with a light on it, and it's under the water, and I seen the gun circle down to the light.
Oh, you could see the gun in the water?
Yeah, circle down. Yeah, because the light was coming up out of the helmet light. Yeah, I could see it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I grabbed whatever I grabbed, and I said, Lord, please forgive me. I asked for forgiveness. I asked for peace.
Are you under the water at this point?
About right here by my lip. And I heard my boy drowning. And I said, Lord, and my lights went out. And the experience I had away from that truck, away from my body, away from the world, in space, seeing the devil, I was there. His laughing, his smiling. I seen his like I want to think that I was hallucinating, but every time that I see in space, because I was in space, I see these 2 things fly around, grab me by my legs, and shake me. And I said, man, if I look down, I'm gonna fall. If I look down, I'm gonna fall. So I kept looking at this orange blob, and this orange blob was laughing at me, bro. And about 2 minutes later, man, I don't know how long. By that time, I think the wrecker was hooking up to our truck. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So when the wrecker hooked up to our truck, it snapped me out of it.
So did it jostle the truck? Did it
It jostled the truck, but it didn't help I went right back out, and I experienced the same thing, brother. Flying in space, I'm looking at this orange blob. I see these 2 things. They're going down, and they're laughing at me, and all this. It's just a weird. I didn't want to sleep. I did not want to sleep for 2 weeks after that. And
why?
so
Because you were afraid you were going to experience that again?
I thought it was the devil. And so finally, the trucks came in, and they pulled the trucks to the side. And as soon as they pulled the truck up the side, the water just rushed out.
Did you wake up at this point?
No, well, I woke up to a certain point. I woke up to I seen my boys looking through a gun port at the back of the window, and I'm looking at them, and they're calling. My nickname is Cholo. They're like Cholo, and I'm looking at them, and they reached their hand in the window, and they grabbed me, and they put my mouth right next to the hole, the gun port.
How big is the window that they reached?
About that big. It's just a gun port you can fire out of. And
yeah.
I took a big breath. I took a deep breath. I went, dude. When I did that, my lights went on. And
they went on?
Yeah, they just clicked on. And then they said, Cholo, open up the hatches. Well, at this time, the hatches were on the side because the truck was getting pulled up.
Mm-hmm.
And so I opened up the hatch, and some guy jumps in. He pushes me to the side. He grabs my boy and drags him out. right?
Mhm.
And then a couple minutes later, I get out and I walk around the truck. I see my boy on the ground, and they're working on him, man. They're doing their um, they're doing a thing to keep him alive. And uh, I
So
see,
it was in the back. Was it just you and him in the back?
yeah, because there wasn't enough room to get to the front. It was a small opening where you can just talk to somebody.
Oh, through the back and the front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I see, I see, I see my one of my partners. He's on the passenger door trying to unlock the door. He's up there working it. But at this time, I was shaking. I was going through. Um, I was hypoxic. I was
So,
hypoxic, and then I was on hypoxic. I had chemical inhalation, and then I had
hypoxic. What is that?
hypoxic, where you breathe real fast,
I
and
never
then
heard that before.
then you have what it's more like. I would say it's more in toxic inhalation, where you're breathing in diesel. And then let me see. There's another one when your body's cold. Anyway,
Oh,
uh,
pneumonia or hypothermia.
hypothermia.
Hypothermia. Yeah.
Intoxication because I had the diesel and then hypothermia.
Hypothermia.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So they run me up to the front, and I had some good dudes, man. I had some really good dudes. I had an Air Force guy with me, so they run me up to the front. They got me away from the other guys because they didn't want to see the death.
So
And
did you find out yet that your friend passed away?
well, now listen, because I had three more people in that truck, right? And so they put me on a helicopter, and my body started burning. And the helicopter ride was about 15 minutes. And I'm like, I start tearing off my shirt, and the Air Force pararescue was saying, settle down. And I'm like, hell no, my body's burning. But they didn't know that diesel had gotten soaked into my clothes. So that's what's burning.
So if diesel's soaked into your clothes, if it's stuck on your skin, it'll burn
It,
you.
chemical burns, yeah.
Yeah, like people don't understand. If you put gas or diesel in a gallon of milk jug, it'll eat right through it.
It'll eat right through it. Yeah. So the burn was that bad, but it was around my neck and my arms, and I'm fighting with these guys, and they're trying to hold me down. And I finally said, you know what, man? I'll let you hold me down. Just let me take off this shirt. I took this shirt off and I threw it out into the desert, and I laid down on the cold metal,
Mhm.
and my body just, you know. And then we got to the base, man, and they picked me up on a stretcher, and they moved me over to the operating room. But at this time, when they moved me to the operating room, we have 20 doctors around me, and no one knows what to do with me because I had no physical injuries. All I had was intoxic inhalation from the diesel,
Yeah.
hypothermia, and some other stuff. So I'm on the operating table. I am on the operating table, just looking at them. In
And
my
they're
mind,
like, oh,
yeah,
I'm sorry, man. Yeah, they're all confused what to
yeah,
do with you.
yeah. But the thing was, they didn't know the experience in the truck. They just looking at my body physically, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there laying on the table, and I look back, and I see two of my chain of command, two of my bosses walk in, and they come up to the table, and they're like, and I'm looking at them, and I'm crying, and they're saying, Joe. I said, what? They said, everybody in your trucks died. Everybody. You're the sole survivor. And I'm like, you know, and they're like, you should go home. And I was at the time, I was like,
How long after this incident happened did you find out that?
about 30 minutes. Yeah,
Wow,
about 30
man.
minutes. You got 30 minutes.
My father drowned, Joe. My father drowned in the Mississippi River. And I know what it's like to lose somebody close to you. And
I can't explain for your father, man. Your father has something more deeper than my boys, man. I can't, I don't even, you know.
I know, but I can't even imagine what you went through, Joe. And I mean, wow, wow, man.
So so that was so that was I lost three that day. No, we lost four because the one guy that stepped on a landmine that we were gonna save
Yeah,
him, in the process of picking him up, we lost three of my brothers on that truck. We lost four people that day. And you know what it is, you know what they did? Without me knowing, they called my wife, which is 6 months pregnant, and said, "Hey, Joe's coming home." And dude, I had so much to give back to my country. So I called my wife up and I said, "Hey, um, the gentleman who saved my life, his name was James Matthew Treber, right? That's important."
mm,
I said, "Hey, James Matthew Treber." So I said, "Hey," I called her up. I said, "Hey, you like James? No. You like Matthew? Matthew's nice." That's what she was telling me. And I said, "Okay, our son, his name is Matthew. And by the way, I'm not going home," and hung up. And she was 6 months pregnant, bro.
wow. Was
That
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 was
broke
that
my heart.
because you wanted to stay in the fight and be there like your boys were gonna be there?
100%, man.
I understand.
100%. Man, I had so much legal retribution, and I didn't want to let my boys fall. And that was just, it's a different story nowadays. When I'm older, I probably looked at it a little different. At that time, I thought about this is my Super Bowl, which is super greedy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, um, so I called her up and I told her the bad news. I said, "Hey, our son this is his name," and then I'm sure she fell apart. And
And this is your second incident.
yeah, my second incident.
So so after the first incident, did you go home after that?
Mm-mm. No, no, I stayed there.
N-
My homeboys
Not
got
at
beat up.
all. Not at
No,
all.
no.
You didn't even go home on leave.
Mm-mm. It just
Wow.
Stax. You got to understand the way, like the warrior mindset, man. We train all this time to go over there and serve our country,
Hmm.
and when we're in country, it's all about our Super Bowl. This is my Super Bowl, you know. So I don't want to be sidelined. I don't want to be put on the bench. I don't want to
Yeah.
be kicked out of the game. I want to complete the mission. It's just a weird mindset. I don't know how to explain it, man. It's just a
Listen,
weird
Joe,
mind.
you're a warrior, man. You fought for this country, and you deserve the utmost respect from every citizen in this country. And I salute you for your bravery, man. And I definitely wanna say my condolences go out to the families of all the people that lost their life. And there's nothing more than you could do than to carry on their legacy
Yeah,
in
and
a positive way, you know?
yeah, man. Sometimes we lose sight of that.
Yeah, some people lose sight of life and they forget how to live. They forget that they have a life to live. You have a life to live, you know? You only get one chance at this. One. You don't get a second chance.
Yeah,
Once
man.
the first to and you've wow, man.
You know,
You you
I think that one incident um, really um, made me take a step back and say if I'm doing it for a bigger picture, or if I'm doing it for my family. If it was for my family, I should have left. You know, and I'm not afraid to say. I'm not afraid to say. But back in the day, you tell me, well, I'm cutting teeth in combat. But now that I'm adult and
mhm,
seeing the repercussions from my kids and my relationships, it's
yeah,
not worth it, bro.
I understand, man.
So, you know, but again, man, I stayed there, and I told her that in August or June, June, yeah. And a month later, and you know the story. I got
This
hit.
happened. This happened in January, May, June, January,
No, this
and
happened.
then
This happened in June.
oh, this happened in June, and
Yeah,
then so when did you tell her I'm not going back home?
end of June.
End of June, yeah.
Yeah, and she was pregnant.
So then the third incident is the grenade incident.
Yeah, and I think we spoke about it a little bit.
Yeah, we did. There's an episode about that. I could put the link for that down below, in the description box. And wow, man, you've been through quite a bit, and I want to let people know that um, you're gonna be doing your own show, and you're gonna be talking to people and people that have been in the military just like yourself,
Yeah,
and you're gonna be talking about their experiences. And I think your channel is gonna blow up, man.
bro, I really hope so, man. So
I I know it is.
Stax, you're an amazing dude. You're an amazing brother, man. And I was, and I think we're still splitting our hairs on the name of the channel, but the channel is going to be Beyond the Beret, and it's not only going to highlight like my service or my buddy's service and what we did downrange, but I always think there's two sides to the war. I think one side is the service member and his experience, but then the second side is what the parents, the family, the loved ones are going through.
The
So
civilians.
the civilians. So
Mhm.
my goal is kind of to run to get a military in here, a guy, and tell his story, share his story, at the same time get his loved ones on here and saying, "Hey, when I was doing this, I was doing this." So because we never connect like that.
And get
You,
their aspect, get the civilians aspect of the military person.
absolutely,
That yeah, that would be awesome. That's a great idea.
absolutely, and that's I got that I got that idea from my mom because when I was deployed, man, so many times my mom would be so depressed she wouldn't get out of her pajamas. She would write a lot of blogs and stuff like that. But I think
Mhm.
like her words, it opens it up. It opens it up to not only military but family. So
Yeah,
many people to come in and say, okay, look, this is this is your son's service. This is what were you going through? Almost parallel. So
yeah.
beyond the beret wants to capture that under the umbrella, and I think that's
That
going to be super powerful.
it's great. It is, man. And your story is super powerful. You are a great person, man, and I want you to continue to fight the fight. And I know you're gonna do big things, man. You already are.
Yeah, brother. Hey, Stacks, man, we got to get together and do a show.
Definitely, man.
Yeah, man. But I appreciate you being on this. I honestly, I've been following you, man, and you've been kicking ass, man, and
Thank you, man. You're
I
one of
really
the first people I interviewed. You are.
hey,
It's all new.
I better be most good looking.
You know it, man.
Yeah, brother.
I got a lot of questions for you, man. I could talk to you for weeks and
All right,
not ever get tired of it.
all right, brother.
But so let me close this one out. And so thank you for joining us for this episode of Chatting with Stacks. And make sure you check out Joe Serna's new show, Beyond the Beret. And it's gonna be insane. He's gonna have all kinds of people on that show. And I'm gonna support him with everything I got. And make sure you support him. He fought for this country and he deserves to get 1 million subscribers. So thank you, man, and thank you for your service, bro. And I love you, man.
I love you too, Stacks.
Until next time, man.